Hey everybody, I am so excited to be here with Christina Miner. She is the founder of the Women's Positivity Organization, and she puts on conferences and retreats here in Ohio. So if you're joining me from Ohio, we would love to see you at the upcoming retreat that is coming up in September. If you are just joining us or are not able to stay and you want more details about this retreat, then just comment with the word retreat and I will get information right out to your DMs. So today, I want to talk about why women don't invest in themselves, why they don't believe that they're worth it. I would say that the number one reason why women decide to not get coaching with me is usually because of money. And it's not because they don't have the money, it's because they somehow feel guilty in spending that money on themselves and spending that money to invest in their internal growth. But Christina and I were talking about, it's interesting how women invest in other things, right?
We get our hair and nails done, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes. We take care of ourselves in so many other ways.
We do. And this beauty doesn't last. It's fading fast, but it's that internal beauty that we can actually pass on. I actually just lost my grandmother yesterday. And I can tell you, she was not very attractive yesterday when I went to see her. But she has left a lasting legacy, a lasting impression on me because of the love that she shared with me and all of her family. And I know that that's the case with so many of you as well. But often we don't invest in the things that are so very important. Christina and I were talking about some of those things. I had an epiphany about a week or so ago. I invested $8,000 in myself. And you can say it was in my business, but it's really in my own growth and my own growth and development. And when I got off the phone after spending $8,000, I was actually excited. And the next day I was actually journaling about how grateful I was that the woman who told me about this program reached out to me, that she didn't worry about feeling kind of cringe, and she just reached out to me. And after I invested, I was thinking about the conversation that I was having. And I was talking about how I wish that I could give away my program for free because I wish that I could help more women. And then I got to thinking and I was like, you know what? If I could do this for free, I probably wouldn't go live every week. I probably wouldn't make reels every day. And those are the things that I am able to offer for free that actually help more people. And then I got to thinking again, if I could offer it for free, then people wouldn't be as invested and they wouldn't follow through. Christina was telling me a story as we were talking before here. Tell us about your experience on Facebook Marketplace.
So it's so funny. I think that it's a very similar analogy. My husband recently had a really bad injury to his leg and he had to give up the treadmill. Got a Peloton, which he completely loves, but he had to give up the treadmill. So he wants to put the treadmill on Facebook. Free. Whoever wants to get it, let's just get it out of the house. And I said, no, I really don't like to make it free because people don't show up. And he didn't quite understand my reasoning, but I've had enough experience as you have. You understand. It seems like when they make a commitment to spend, that they make a commitment to show up. And I think it's so similar to what you were saying. Needless to say, he was so wonderful that, when they came, he certainly wasn't concerned about their money. He wanted it out of the house, but they showed up. And that was the important thing. And this is what you're saying. Why is it that women don't think that they're worth it? Why is it that everyone doesn't think that they're worth it? They need to invest in themselves. And investing in yourself is an investment in your growth and in your life. And it makes you a better person to everyone around you.
Yeah. I think so many times women, we grow up with the mentality that it's almost like our job to take care of everybody else. And I know that I always did this. And so then I would feel bad if I spent any money on myself because I looked at it was, if I spend this money, then I can't spend it on my kids, or then, my husband won't have what he wants. And first of all, that's this, lack mentality, this limited mindset that somehow it's not going to come about. I saw this video a month or so ago that said, you should be able to hustle as much as somebody that's addicted to crack, they don't wake up and go, I wonder how I'm going to make that money, right? Like they just make it. And we're not as motivated when it comes to investing in ourselves. We invest in ourselves, but then we're like, oh no, where's that money going to come from? You are capable of making that money, and more so than somebody that has an addiction, and yet we don't think to do it. And so often I think women, when they don't invest in themselves and they put everybody else's needs before their own, a lot of times they become kind of bitter and resentful.
Right. So we were talking about this before we went live, and it's that investment. It's that investment in understanding that you're worth it, that you're probably a better person after you've made that investment. I mean, almost hands down, you're a better person because you have gratitude, because you have this feeling of, I just want to do better in life. I want to do better for the people around me. And I think that that's the important thing, is recognizing that it does apply to your whole life.
Yeah.
And not in a spoiled way and not in an overindulgent way. We're not saying go overboard. We're not saying don't pay the bills.
Right.
We're saying take time a few times a year and say, I need to do something for me.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that we were talking about is a plumber. I don't know if you guys have hired a plumber lately, but their rates are like $300, $350 an hour. And we don't think twice. I mean, if we've got a plumbing issue, well, then we just call a plumber and we give that money to them. But we don't think to do that for ourselves and for the things that really, really matter.
Even though this is our home, this is our temple, it needs to be maintained.
Yeah, our plumbing, the stuff that we don't see, you know, like it's not just the walls that need painted and the furniture, but it's the things that are behind the walls of our house that need to be fixed. And we know that needs to be fixed. And we know that we need to call somebody that knows what they're doing and how to fix those internal things. And yet sometimes women don't think about it's our insides that we need to invest in.
And that's where your training and everything that you have learned as a coach, it just gives you that ability to allow them to grow and heal and fix what's inside.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Well, I want to give Christina a moment to share some of her story, because she's got an amazing story in how she came about. And I love that both of us, before we entered into the business that we're in, we came across some really difficult, trying times. And sometimes it's in those moments that we realize that we need to reach out for help, and that we need to do more with our lives than what we're doing. So tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Well, I started this business somewhat of an epiphany as well. So I went through a journey with breast cancer, and it was advanced, and it was a trying time. I just had the best. My husband was amazing. My family was amazing. My friends were amazing. My faith grew stronger. But at the very end, at the very end of when I started feeling more like myself, I recognized the attitude was so important. I recognized that yes, we all need, like, how blessed was I to be surrounded with so much good, but I still could have curled up in a ball every day. And that was really an easier option. But we as women, we always try to make everybody else happy around us. So it was like easier to shelter them from what was actually going on inside. But I recognized that was the best thing that could have happened, that having the good attitude helped get me through it. So fast forward a little bit, a year or so, and maybe 2 years now, and my friend took me to a ladies' Bible conference. And I had already dreamed up the idea of the Women's Positivity Conference, but it got placed on the back burner because everything else needed to happen first. And then it got placed on the back burner again, and it just didn't happen. But after I came home from that conference, I'm like, why am I not doing this? Women need to get together. So we have professional opportunities to get together. We have faith-based. We do everything for our kids. But we don't just have a day where we enjoy each other, learn from each other, communicate with each other. Just kind of even back to the days like my grandmother used to have, where it was a social opportunity too. So I created the Women's Positivity Conference, and I had just some friends that really rallied around. I was blessed that my husband said, okay, let's do this. I hadn't sold a single ticket and had this big commitment, but it worked. It worked. We sold out. We had the first one last year and had 250 ladies there. We supported small businesses that were owned by women. We had a fashion show at lunch. So not to be superficial, but just to say, I don't want the whole day to be fluff, because we went through these emotions in the day. We went through ups and downs, and you can't get to positivity and joy unless you go through some of those emotions. So we did. We talked about them. We had really wonderful speakers, and the business just grew enough where we could do it again this year. April sold out again, and now in September, at the end of September, we're doing a retreat. And that retreat really is the impetus. It came from these women that came to the conference saying, I really want more. I want to spend a little more time together. I want to get, a deeper dive. I want to connect. So we're doing an overnight, and we'll have deeper conversations and better opportunity to connect because it's a smaller group. So it's just 50 women, and there's still a little bit of, some seats left, but it's just that investment. It's all, I love planning events. I love doing things like that, but it's really making the commitment to say, I think it's going to make a difference. Well, we were after the events, it's over. And I thought, well, it went great. Everything was wonderful. It turned out as I hoped that it would. And a lady asked to get together with me. She was friends with one of the speakers. And she said, you had no idea that what you did was a mental health event. And I didn't. Mm-hmm. I did get great feedback. Great inspiration and motivation was provided throughout the day. But I didn't really think about it like that. And we got a grant from the ADM for mental health last year, or this year, because of that. And it was just recognizing that when you gather together with kind-minded people and you all have the same goal, you really are improving the quality of your own life. Even if it's, as the Bible says, even if it's just two.
Yeah.
So
where two or more are gathered.
Yes.
That's interesting, because I think that since COVID, there's really been a almost hesitancy for people to get together. And I think it's because we got comfortable. We got comfortable in our homes. Many of you know that I was a teacher prior to coaching full time. And I noticed in the high schools, the mental health, there's a mental health crisis in our country. And it was exacerbated by COVID. And yes, we went into isolation. And for some of us, that was comfortable, and we've had trouble getting out. I have seen that in the churches. People stopped going to church because you couldn't. And then when it was time to go back, it was just like, but it's more comfortable to watch it online.
Right.
But there's something missing there. You're missing that connection and community. And yes, it's scary sometimes, to step out of that comfort zone. But growth does not happen in our comfort zone. Many of you know that I'm also a yoga instructor. And one of the things that I like is there's the stretch zone is where we want to be. We don't want to be in the comfort zone. We don't want to be in the panic zone, right? It shouldn't be completely panicking. We're not asking you to speak at this retreat. We're asking you to step out of your comfort zone and get a little bit uncomfortable and do something that you know is good for you. In fact, I have made a commitment to myself that every day I want to do something that is a little uncomfortable. Because I have found as an adult that it's easy to not do those things. As a kid, you have to do all those things that are uncomfortable. But as an adult, we get to choose. And so oftentimes we choose into the comfort.
Wow.
We choose into the comfort inside of our marriages. We choose into the comfort in our social life. And we don't step out. And there is definitely power in getting together with other women, because when you isolate yourself, naturally you feel alone. And when you are with other women and hear their stories, you realize, first of all, that I'm not alone. And secondly, if I could trade my problems for them, I think I'm going to keep my own, right? We realize.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
So we had an endorsement from the Kevin Love Fund in April. They came in virtually into our meeting. Not Kevin himself, but his team, and they were amazing. We had many meetings prior to the conference. And his biggest thing, because he has fought mental health issues himself, and here he is, great looking guy, he's got all this talent, he has money, he has everything. They just won a championship, and he thought he was having a heart attack on the court because he was internalizing all of these emotions that he had. He wasn't dealing with them. So he created the Kevin Love Fund, and what it is it's a foundation that helps talk about mental health, primarily in the schools and in organizations. But we were able to bring it in because here we are as a nonprofit, we were able to do that. Well, Kevin says, everyone is going through something.
Mhm.
And this is what I always thought about, even when I had a bad day, even when it was like, boy, that chemo really kicked my butt today. But there was a child that was suffering or an elderly person or whatever. And that we wouldn't trade our problems.
Right.
And we wouldn't wish them on anyone else either.
Exactly. And sometimes it's good to be around other people and recognize, wow, I don't have it as bad as I thought I did. And it also inspires us because, wow, if they could overcome that,
right,
I can overcome this.
Right. Yeah, see your blessings, find gratitude, whatever it is. One of our speakers, I think it was Marilyn Shimp at the conference this year, she said, don't just have your cup overflow, have your saucer overflow. Like recognize how much good you have. And if the only thing you did that day was pour yourself a cup of coffee, it's something great. We're not living in a place where we have to worry about war and all of that. Like we have a great country we're in here, so let's enjoy our gifts.
I love that analogy. It reminds me also of what we were talking about before, when sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but if you go out with girlfriends, whether it's for a night or for a weekend, there is something about that always has me come home feeling sexy for my husband. I don't know why, but let me tell you, ladies, your husband wants you to go away because ultimately, and I say this to my clients all the time, your significant other, what they want the most for you is for you to be happy. And if this brings you joy and happiness, they want that for you. They want you to come home full, because what we often do is we go around with an empty cup. We wake up in the morning and first thing that we do is we're taking care of everybody else. We wake up with it empty, we go to bed with it empty, and we want to be able to help fill you up and give you the tools so that you can regularly fill yourself up. If you are just joining us, if you want to comment with the word retreat, I will send you a message with more details about this retreat. And the first 6 people that sign up under my promo code can be a guest at my table. I would love to be able to spend the weekend with you and get to know you. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, just comment with the word retreat and I'll get more information out to you.
That's fantastic. What a good offer, right?
Well, it's funny because sometimes when I talk to people on the phone, like when I'll offer up a call to some people, I'll get on the phone like, oh, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I've been following you, and like I'm some kind of celebrity or something, but I'm clearly not. But I love to talk to my followers and know what's going on in your life and know how I can best help you. And it would be an honor for me to sit at the table with you that weekend at the end of September.
And can I tell them about where it's being
held? Yeah.
So we're going to be in Lakeside, Ohio, which is just a beautiful community. It's a historic community. It's a faith-based community. It's just like you drive through the gate and it's like you're in a Hallmark movie, right? It's just this lovely experience and charming, and everything is wonderful about it. But you think, well, how can it be any better than that? Our meeting room looks at the water, so that's really cool. So we will be in a meeting space that's above the pavilion, above the dock, and our windows look at the water, and then the other side of the windows are going to look at the top of those trees, and the fall foliage is going to be just perfect. And we're going to get outside, weather permitting, and we're going to have more than just sitting and listening. And if you don't wish to participate, just sit and enjoy the space. Because isn't that the thing, like with yoga? We have a very gentle yoga, by the way, where I don't think we've said Michelle's a speaker. Of course, we're saying it, but we're not. So Michelle's a speaker, and then we have Maria, who I've known for many years, that's going to conduct our yoga. And if you're not a yogi, that's okay. Just come and enjoy the space and enjoy the calmness and listen to the water and just take that opportunity. We have meals, there's on-site lodging, there's everything that you need, and it's such a small investment in yourself.
Yeah. Can you tell us some of the topics of the that we're going to be covering over the weekend?
Yeah. Sure. So we have 8 fabulous speakers, and the topics include everything from everyday miracles, which is Andrea Capuano, and she's just a dynamite mentor, coach, leader, servant heart. Just amazing. My maid of honor. I can touch my mic. She was, she's very special to me. Marilyn Shimp is speaking, and she's actually backed by popular demand. And I can't remember the name of her topic because she was she said it, but she said, it's still coming to her.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
It's very inspiring. I promise you. She's back by popular demand. We have breathwork, which is your superpower, which will be used several times throughout the retreat. And that's being done by Diana Hurst. Michelle is doing redefining self-love. Mm-hmm. Kathy Brewer is going to talk about nutrition and faith and where that all fits in. Start thriving in life, stop dieting and start thriving. Let's see, Vicki Pearson is doing our Sunday morning sermon for those who wish to participate. Vivian Brinkman, who is the Bohemian Mama, who does all natural products. She has Mama's Recipe for Joy. And Melissa Beck is, let's see, Life is Tough, But So Are You.
I love that.
That's a great one. I hope I haven't forgotten any, but you can get an idea that this is motivating, inspiring. Your cup will be filled with gratitude when you're done.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.